What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie, and today I'm gonna just review and rant about and praise and encourage you to check out Inter Arma's new album, New Heaven. Inter Arma is a, for lack of a better word, metal band out of the southeast part of the United States. I have reviewed and ranked and given my top 10 songs from this band elsewhere on this channel. I'll drop those links to those videos in the description. But this album just came out a couple days ago. Their first album since pre-COVID. So it's been a good almost a decade since we've last heard from this band on album. And 40 minutes long. My only complaint is that it's too short. I would love a double album at this point. It's been a long time. But it's 40 minutes long, 8 songs. And from a band who put out an EP that was 45 minutes long, that was essentially one absolutely amazing song, broken up into little different parts, acoustic part, a proggy guitar solo part, a doomy part. Nonetheless, it was a 45-minute track. The longest song on here is 7 minutes and 37 seconds long. So quite a different sort of approach, a different sort of vibe to this album. It is something I've been able to listen to way more often because it's only 40 minutes long as opposed to like over an hour. But really intense, really good, perfectly sequenced, pretty much a little bit of everything you would want out of metal, very genre blending in an Inter Arma way. You get a lot of blast beats. You get a guitar solo that's full on prog and soaring. You get mostly some growl vocals, but you also get some nice clean vocals. You get some doom riffs kind of lurking in the background. You kind of get it all over the course of the 40 minutes. And the journey is just, it is such a, you even get a little acoustic stuff. The journey on the album is just, it's just perfect. Opens up with the title track, New Heaven. And it starts off with this very like messing around with guitar noises and just kind of making sounds and letting everybody kind of come in, drums, bass, everybody's like playing around. But the opening sort of noise that they're making reminds me of those damn blue collar tweakers by Primus, just like, just kind of like you're squeezing noises out of a guitar just to like make noise. And then after we do that for a while, we drop into this just sort of just all over the place prog metal nastiness that's just absolutely amazing. You got blast beats going crazy. You got this metal growl. You got these sort of funky guitar lines and bass lines running throughout and underneath. And it's just this oral assault that is both intimidating and exhilarating and uplifting and just absolutely perfect. And the entire band is absolutely fantastic, but gotta give a shout out to the drummer. The drums are just all over the place in the best way possible, really defining like the direction and the tone and the vibe of so many of these songs. And it's a lot of just very clean, don't got a lot of drum noise, but a lot of drum presence, if that makes sense. Just absolutely fantastic. So you get New Heaven, which opens up with probably one of your most like blended sort of Inter Arma genre mixing, visiting, dipping, let's just sample everything type things. And then the next 2 songs, Violet Seizures and Desolation's Harp, both have a lot more, I think, of a black metal presence because you just got these blast beats going almost the entire time. But you also have all this absolutely amazing stuff going on around it. Violet Seizures is just relentless. Has a really nice kind of low-key build-up before we like drop into the actual song. Reminds me of like 2012-ish, around then, about 10 years ago, Kailasa, another fantastic band out of this Southeast United States. Then we switch into what is almost a 4/4 Charlie Watts just driving beat at one point, and then we go off into these other things. It's just this Violet Seizures is kind of this really relentless attack, and it really does have this interesting overall effect of you get the seizure vibe because of the relentlessness of it, but then it's not violet seizures, it's violet seizures. And so there is this weird sort of like beauty in it, or maybe there's just a glimpse of like, oh, there is something positive in this, but so good. You get Desolation Harp. Desolation's Harp is next. Darker vibe. You get the blast beats with this really cool like doom riff that's just kind of slowly lurking in the background doing its like doom thing. So while like you have the presence of this like relentless you also have this guitar on the back, and I think it's a bass just going like doom doom, playing this much slower riff. Just absolutely awesome from the beginning. And then in the second half of the song, you kind of get this melodic guitar line that enters in. That's just like, oh yeah, all right, we're getting a little more, maybe a little more proggy here with the metal, or maybe even a little more straightforward with the metal. Absolutely amazing. Then you get Endless Gray, which is this instrumental, kind of a breather. Kind of feels like something you would hear on a Baroness album, just one of those instrumental type things with this awesome lead guitar lines playing the melody and just like kind of like slow. The opens up with the slowest and steadiest drum beat of the whole album, and then you know, okay, we're in for something a little bit different. But instead of dropping into something crazy, we just kind of build on it. Some really nice, almost Chris Squire-ish, if I had to compare, as far as like a bass solo at the end of this as the song fades out. This almost just kind of like awesome bass attack that comes in. Absolutely perfect. And that's kind of the first half of the album. And then we get into the second half, which just feels a little bit darker and a little more depressing, and not it's exhilarating musically, but also I think the overall vibe, and I think the titles of the songs just make it feel that way. Gardens in the Dark, very proggy vibes. We've got some clean vocals on here, kind of a Nick Cave depth to the vocals, but a little more metal, I guess. There is these repeating spaced out chords that kind of create this very like this one of these days type vibe, like a Pink Floyd progginess, where in the beginning as the song's building, you get these like duh, duh, kind of those bursts that would happen in the first half of One of These Days. And then eventually it goes into like a heavier, we got a much more dynamic, we got some ups, we got some downs. We got a fake fade out at the end that comes back louder and then just dramatically cuts off. A very dynamic, kind of all over the place song. And that cuts off and gives us a little moment of space before we get into The Children the Bombs Overlooked, which the title alone is just enough. It's the longest song on the album. I think it's very much the centerpiece of the album. There's this very dun, dun, steady attack that's going on, very slow, ominous. You got some deep growl vocals or some clean vocals during part of this. No, the clean vocals are on the next song. It's not on this one. Just absolutely amazing. You got a lot of interaction with the drummers. Like you have these little tiny little breaks where you almost get like these little mini drum solos. And at one point it almost feels like there's an actual battle going on between like the entire band, but mostly the vocalist and the drummer, and like the vocalist will do something, the drummer is like responding, has this very dynamic back and forth thing. Really cool. And then the end of it fades out, which I'm not a big fan of fade outs, but considering the title of the song, The Children, the Bombs Overlooked, and just the overall feel of the drums come in and it's this relentless like battle-like energy that's going on, and almost in the beginning it's like you can hear every time that chord drops, it's like the bombs are being dropped once again, and it's not the most negative sounding chord, which makes it even more disturbing because we're dropping bombs on children all the time, and yet we still go on with our lives. It's because we want to ignore it, and the fact that this junk chord is not the most minor or negative sounding chord makes it just a little more disturbing. But the fade out at the end just makes it seem like, no, this isn't going to end. It's just going to keep on going and we're going to forget about it and the song's going to fade off and we just go on with our lives and that's it. I think had they ended it in a dramatic fashion, it would be like, oh, maybe there is hope. But no, there isn't. The next song, Concrete Cliffs, is kind of the ballad of the album. It's got these kind of slow, almost like uplifting parts, and then the vocals and another guitar come in on the verse that are almost like bringing us down, and we have this almost battle of like, we want to lift you up, but no, we're going to bring you down. We want to lift you up, we're going to bring you down. We got some clean vocals in this. We got a legitimate guitar solo, like a proggy, awesome ending guitar solo at the end of it. And it very much feels like the resolution, like the tying of the bow of the entire journey that we've gone on so far. It's very much like, okay, we're exercising some demons. We're ending in an uplifting place. It's like, okay, yes, I wish this was only the first half of the album and we double this again, but it's essentially the end of the album because the last track is this sort of acoustic ballady type thing, lyrics about a man who lives up in the end of, it's called Forest Service Road Blues, who lives at the end of a Forest Service Road and wants to live alone. But yeah, it's a really kind of nice way to sort of like catch your breath before you, or at least I have inevitably just gone back and listened to the album again because it goes by too fast and it's such a fantastic listen. So yeah, if you're into metal, if you're not into metal, if you just want to hear great music, I highly recommend this. Enter Arma, New Heaven. Just came out a couple days ago and here in the end of April 2024. If you want to check out what I have to say about their other albums or their best songs or what to check out, I will put those links in the description. Absolutely, absolutely fantastic band. Fantastic album. Excited to see them when they hit the road. And yeah, all right, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and go listen to this band. Please. Peace. Talk to you later.